Chapter 10. The Fall of Constantinople. 1453. For more than 1,000 years, Constantinople had stood. Founded by the Roman Emperor Constantine in 330 AD, the city became the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, what we now call the Byzantine Empire. Rome itself had fallen centuries earlier. Constantinople had not. Its massive walls had survived armies, sieges, political revolutions, and the collapse of the ancient world around it. But by 1453, the empire had been reduced to little more than the city itself, and outside its walls waited a 21-year-old Ottoman sultan named Mehmed II. Mehmed wanted Constantinople, and he brought something that changed the mathematics of siege warfare: gunpowder artillery. The city's famous Theodosian walls were extraordinary, layers of stone defenses that had protected Constantinople for roughly 1,000 years. But they had been designed for an age of arrows, ladders, siege towers, and catapults. Mehmed brought enormous cannons. One of the largest bombards was capable of firing stone balls weighing hundreds of pounds. Again and again, Ottoman artillery hammered the ancient walls. Inside the city, Byzantine Emperor Constantine XI commanded a desperately small defending force. Greeks, Genoese, Venetians, and others fought together, repairing breaches at night while Ottoman cannon reopened them during the day. The defenders also stretched a massive chain across the Golden Horn to prevent Ottoman ships from entering the harbor. So Mehmed did something audacious. He moved ships over land. Ottoman vessels were hauled across greased wooden tracks and launched behind the chain. Now, Constantinople was threatened from another direction. For nearly 2 months, the defenders held. Then, before dawn on May 29, 1453, Mehmed launched his final assault. Wave after wave attacked the walls. Eventually, Ottoman troops broke through. Emperor Constantine XI disappeared into the fighting. He was killed, although exactly how remains uncertain. Constantinople fell. The Byzantine Empire, the surviving eastern half of the Roman Empire, was finished. Nearly 1,500 years after Augustus ruled Rome, the last political descendant of the ancient Roman state was gone. Mehmed entered the city as conqueror. Constantinople became the capital of the Ottoman Empire and, over the centuries, developed into the city we know today as Istanbul. But the story doesn't end at the walls. Greek-speaking scholars had already been moving westward, and the Ottoman advance accelerated those movements. Some brought knowledge of Greek language and classical texts into Italy, strengthening intellectual currents already transforming Renaissance Europe. The fall also demonstrated something rulers across Europe could not ignore. The old walls were no longer enough. Gunpowder was changing warfare. Trade routes and political calculations were changing, and Europeans were increasingly looking outward for alternative connections with the wealthy markets of Asia. Constantinople's fall did not single-handedly create the Renaissance or cause the Age of Exploration. But it accelerated changes already underway. This is another Dorothy threshold. For centuries, Constantinople had been one of the great surviving anchors of the ancient Roman world. Then the cannons fired. The walls broke. And history crossed another threshold it could not easily cross back over: